Hi, my name is Evelyn LaChapelle, and welcome to another episode of the Grind Time podcast, where together we are turning our to do list into our did list and finding some gratitude at the end of every night in the things that we were able to accomplish versus going to sleep worried about the things that you just couldn't get done on this grind as an entrepreneur. I hope that you would subscribe, learn, and like. I'm just going to get right into what I did today as a startup entrepreneur. So today I started my day off by attending a weekly webinar, that happens weekly, hosted by an organization called Nonprofit Plug. It's these two ladies who I love them. So this is a plug for the Nonprofit Plug. But these two ladies have an organization that help you bring your nonprofit organization to life. They literally have all the services that you need. I paid them a fee. They did all the paperwork. I now have a 501c3. My nonprofit is Ladies Loving and Living. Our mission is to serve women post incarceration through our three programs, which is the Lady Care Package, Ladies Entrepreneurs, and our Lady Wellness programming. So today I jumped on their weekly webinar, which is absolutely free. So if you are starting a nonprofit, if you know someone that's already in the space, like their weekly webinar is a really good resource. I've learned a lot. And I jumped into their webinar today, and the topic was about choosing a board that works for your organization. The reason this one really stuck out for me is because I'm in the middle of choosing a board. So I am in the process. I've already contacted a couple of people who I thought would make really good candidates for the board. And I was choosing those people based off of their resume, based off of their titles, hoping that their presence would make us three felons a little more reputable. And what I learned in that call today was that your board really is there to support you and is there to be like a supporting cast and need to be extremely committed to the mission. And so they're like, charge the board, like put a fee on being on the board. And for me, that just sounded crazy because legally already you can't pay your board. Your board members are subject to attend a monthly meeting. They make decisions for the organization. They're like the when it comes down to it, the decisions need to go through the board, and it's free work, it's volunteer work. So there's no way I would charge anybody to be on the board. But it's not like a fee, it's more like fundraising. They suggested like put a responsibility of fundraising on your board as small as $500, right? Like my daughter's school does it all the time. Here goes $200 worth of chocolates, go sell them. If you sell them or not, you owe us $200. So it would be the same concept of the fee to be on the board is $500. That's a fundraising act. So you have all year to fundraise that $500, or you can pay that $500. But that little investment is intended to keep your board invested. And so I thought that was a wonderful idea. That's what I pulled out of that. So I'll be charging the board. I'll let you know how it goes. After that, I don't know what I was playing around on. I was playing around on the, not Shopify, I was playing around on my MailChimp, and I added the pop up now to the website. So when you go to calltheweedlady.com, there's a pop up that asks you to subscribe to the newsletter like every other website in the world, right? I didn't have one, and I use my mailing list. There's a newsletter that goes out every week, every Thursday in the morning, so 4 times a month. And I my newsletter is a way for me to stay connected to my audience. I get great feedback about the newsletter. I make sales from the newsletter, and I'm using the newsletter not just to generate sales, but to generate value for those who are opening it. And so you will get info about the products, upcoming events in the neighborhood, prison reform, and cannabis entrepreneurship. So, hoping to keep the readers engaged. Prior to adding this pop up, I have gained my subscribers normally at vending opportunities. And so, when I'm outside and I'm in public, I normally like offer them a free gift in exchange for subscribing So now, especially now that I'm running ads, I'm getting 100 to 120 people on the website a day. Having that pop up should really increase my subscription list on my MailChimp subscription list. So I did that, pat myself on the back for that. Then, I applied for grants today. So typically Mondays were designated as grant days. I really haven't done it in like 3 months. I'm not sure why. I've been the recipient of some really nice grants. Uh, about not yet 2 years. Oh, I guess it'll be 2 years coming up. So almost 2 years ago, I received a $50,000 grant, and then last year I received a $20,000 grant just by like it's literally it's an application. You have to locate the grants, but it's an application. It's like the lotto, and you might win, and it's free money, and you don't have to pay it back. Taxes get a little iffy at the end. Not sure if I did my taxes right because I had to pay on the grants, but nonetheless, it's free money, and it's intended to be used to help you grow your business. And so I'm back at it again. Remember, my goal is $250 a day. At this point, I don't care where it comes from. So I apply. I do care a little bit. Like there's something. No. So I applied for the amplifier grant. That came with a $15 fee. I don't know how. I mean, you don't really want to pay to apply for grants. I know I don't. But again, it's just like back to that investment. Like if I'm invested, I invested that $15. I bet you I go check back and see when the award date is and see if I was awarded it. I also keep a list of all of the grants that I'm applying for because sometimes you'll get to the grant and maybe you missed the deadline or the application is coming up. You want to be able to go back to those grants. So I got a spreadsheet with the grant name, any notes, if I applied for it, how much the grant is worth, and the link to the application and our website. And so in some instances, like there'll be a note to come back October when the application's open. So I can use that list really as a reference. What else did I do? So I added that to the list. Then, I watched Worth the Wait today by Sarah Jakes. I didn't take any good notes, but I wrote it down. So you should check it out. I applied for the Galaxy grant, which is a $2,700 grant, $2,750 to be exact. I signed for my new car today. Come on, Bessie with the testy. So getting a new car. I applied to the Visionary Pitch competition, which has a $250,000 grand prize. And I also applied to the Cadence Cash Equal Access Fund, which is a $5,000 grant. Prior to falling in love with ChatGPT, grant applications are sort of daunting. And it's not that you don't know the information because I know my business inside and out. I know the value that it brings. I know. But when they're asking you questions and you want to sound professional and you want to put your best foot forward and you want to answer it in the parameters that they set, like max 250 characters, like all those little details. And instead of like working it out on my own, I literally copy the question, I throw it in ChatGPT, I write my answer in the most layman terms ever. Like whatever my thought is, excuse me, whatever my thought is, whatever that answer is, I just write it out, misspellings and all. ChatGPT can understand what you're trying to say. And then I have the perfect answer. Boom, copy and paste. I was able to apply for 4 grants today using ChatGPT. I didn't have to hire a grant writer. If it gets to that, I'll let you know. But so far, me and ChatGPT are working it out. If you don't know what that is, go to, I think it's literally like just Google ChatGPT. It's an AI tool. It sign in with your Google. We'll have to do another episode on that, but my job resumes, it's doing the job. I'll do a whole nother episode on ChatGPT for those. If you haven't figured it out, let me know in the comments. So the point, that's all I did today. And I read through it pretty quickly, so it doesn't seem like I did a lot. It doesn't seem like I took all day to do those things, but I most certainly did. And so to not feel shitty about not doing more, this is what I do. I have my journal always in front of me with my to-do list on the left. It is a running list. It's never ending. It's never going to end. And I think that's what the problem is for me with the to-do list. It never ends. So you never get that sense of accomplishment. So I had to start writing down the things that I did get done so that at the end of the night, before I climb in bed, I'm not full of anxiety about all the things that are still left on the to-do list. So this is what I want to encourage you to do, is to come back to your list and be like, I listened to the Nonprofit Plug webinar today. I not just listened, I joined the Nonprofit Plug webinar today. I added the pop-up to the website for email subscriptions. I applied to 4 grants. I updated the grant list, and I still made time to watch a sermon by Sarah Jakes called Worth the Wait. And I signed for a new car today. So I'm going to usher myself into my break time. I encourage you to do the same and let me know what you think. So I hope you have a wonderful evening. Please subscribe, learn, and like. It's how you grow a podcast. Throughout this podcast, I'll be sharing tips and tricks on how I'm growing a podcast. So stick around to learn some more. Have a great evening.
But there's one person that I never thank. I never thank her. And that's myself. Because I'm out here grinding. I feel like Issa Rae says entrepreneurship means doing that shit yourself. And I'm up all night. I'm building websites. I don't even know what that means. You know what I'm saying? I'm pushing out flyers. I'm